I'm attorney Larry Taylor, and welcome to Tailor Made Conversations on tailormadelaw.com. And I'm sitting here with the real life Joker, not the fake Joker, not the one that you see in the comic books, not the ones that you might see in the movies. I'm talking about the flesh and blood, real life Joker.
Come on.
Joker, talk to the people and tell them your full name. Let them know something about you.
Yeah, let's do it like this because like I was telling you, I'm kind of stepping out from behind the camera and started, speaking with people and, kind of putting myself out there. So from what people do know, yes, Real Life Joker is the moniker. Real name is Jonathan. Of course, I'm of Igbo descent, Nigeria, but I was born and raised in Dallas. So some people migrate to Dallas, but born here in St. Paul Hospital. Went through elementary here in North Dallas. I live right around the corner of Royal Lane and 35 when I first kind of started and moved to North Dallas. And my mother's from Little Rock. My dad is from Nigeria. 3 siblings, and we're gonna talk about the entertainment, get into the entertainment stuff. But I've always wanted to be in the entertainment business. The aura of the entertainment world. As a kid growing up in the inner city, it just makes you want to be part of it, if that's your personality. I think we had an interview with you, and I don't know if you never said if you were introvert or extrovert or not when you were growing up.
Man, I am a hybrid. I was an only child for a while.
Yeah.
Until my sister was born 10 years later. And so I am comfortable being around people, making friends easily because it was just me. But at the same time, I'm real comfortable with it just being me. And so I'm a little of both, because sometimes I get overwhelmed by being around people and having to be in court and perform and do those things. And so I like to go back and sit in my media room and turn the air conditioning down and just sit in silence.
See, I'm different. My mother had a child back to back to back, 4 of us, until my youngest sister, she had cerebral palsy. So having to be the only boy with 3 sisters and the youngest one having cerebral palsy, it taught me to really hone in on family. We had to have our imagination had to be strong, because sometimes we can't go outside. We have to stay and take care of your sister. So we had to have some. I used to I never my sister played with Barbies, but I would have He-Man toys and I would make up whole cartoons. And I remember when I was younger, I was like 10, 11, 12. My dad had a VHS camera and I would do stop motion film. If I could find one of them tapes, man, I would love to show you. 11 years old doing stop motion film with He-Man toys.
Wasn't it a TV show like that, man, where the kid was recording his whole life growing up in the 80s? It was a TV show.
There was. I don't know the name of it.
You should do it.
I should do it.
You should do it.
I should do it. So yeah, there you go. But that's my story in a nutshell, as far as just family, wanting to kind of be a part of this entertainment world, and just kind of having a dream. That's all it is, having a dream. But I'll let you ask some questions.
I'm finna go back to your whole family dynamics, but I want to give a shout out to my Nigerian brothers and sisters, because thanks to my brother Ugo, I got through law school. He was my study partner during law school. And so if anybody sees this and they want to donate some fufu or anything of that nature,
some J-Lo.
I'll be here to accept it.
Yeah.
But man, let's talk about that, because that's huge, right? Yeah. We're going to get into the entertainment, man, but you having a sister with a disability and your family dynamics, talk about that and how that molded you and how that affects you as far as groups and business.
Man, let me say this. First and foremost, it humbled me in life, because she had like extreme cerebral palsy. She had like multiple brain surgeries. I forgot the term. It's not paraplegia, but she uses crutches. But I know we're right here in downtown, but I lived damn near at Children's Hospital in Easter Seal. She was there for so long. Like, brain surgery, sometimes she'll be in recovery for months. So my mom, we were just staying up at these hospitals. So what it did was it gave me patience. Some men say that they gain a sense of responsibility after they had their first child. Like, oh, I got a daughter, I got a son, I gotta handle my business now. When you have a sister that's handicapped, that's 2 years younger than you, it kind of gives you that early on, like, through grade school, getting through high school, getting to college and stuff like that. And then I had my first son at 17. So that doubled down on me. to say, okay, yeah, you got to get life right. My mom, she passed away in 2003 as I was 20 years old, breast cancer. My dad, he's battling stage 4 cancer right now. And mind you, my dad's from Nigeria and I'm from, my mom's from Little Rock. They moved to Dallas, so we don't have family here. So it's really all you have is like, I remember you said the same thing, like, all I have is my mom, my dad, and my sisters. Everybody else is just going to be, coming to my world, and we'll see how those relationships go and stuff like that. But you kind of lean on family a lot harder. So I think, and it's funny because I love to hear people's different paths in life. I do feel when I talk to people who are single children, they do seem either one more determined or two more. Their life kind of just goes a separate path. Like, hey, man, my mom didn't even care about me. She had to work, and I was doing my own thing. So I think the outside environments influenced that a little more. I never smoked weed. I didn't peer pressure didn't get to me because I had strong family values.
That is
like
so
right
crucial.
there.
That is so crucial.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, no. As far as when it comes to business and things of that nature, when you see me doing RealLyfe Street Starz, I started that with the same guys that when we lived in North Dallas, when I moved to North Dallas at 9 years old, these are the same guys I'm doing business with right now. And it's a successful business in Dallas.
So you like the LeBron James of social media?
Yeah, I guess you could say.
You and your whole crew growing up.
Yeah, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But it's very rare that you, like, how many people are you still friends with from 9 years old?
Dude, I'm different. I'm different. My best friend and I have one of my best friends and I have been together since before we were one.
Oh, wow.
Like solid.
Damn.
We talk every other day for 51 years.
That's amazing.
We've been together. We had separation anxiety when one of us would go on summer vacation.
Yeah.
Right? And so in the summertime, we stayed at each other's house. And so my other friends, I got 3 other friends who I met in junior high. And, we played sports together.
There you go.
We rock and talk on a group chat basically daily. And so I'm one of those people because I didn't have a brother and I didn't have a sister until I was 11. Those individuals that I met who showed that they had my back, I've rode with all the time. If you ride with me, and you show you ride with me,
simple as that,
brother. I'm like a skin tag. You ain't getting rid of me.
Right there you go. Now that's the beauty, man. It's funny because not too many people have that story. Most people I talk to don't rock with people that they grew up with. I mean, they might be cordial with them, but not like I'm in business with these guys. Like and they say you're not supposed to mix business and either friendship or family, but it could work. It could work if you try to navigate it right. It could work. So.
Do you think a large part of that they don't have those long-lasting relationships because their paths and ideals were different?
Of course. I got friends that, like, hey, I'm gonna go to this party. I'm gonna pop this pill. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, man, that's not really that doesn't really get you far in this business world. Mm-hmm. It's funny. Can we be authentic? Can we be authentic?
They do.
All right. Let's be authentic. A lot of dudes in my corner were chasing females rather than chasing the money. And mind you, I understand that, because we were all, before we started doing RealLyfe Street Starz, we were all rappers. And every rapper wants the groupie love. They just want the groupie love growing up, especially if you're single. I've been with my girl since I was, I told her I had a baby at, she got pregnant at 17. I'm still with her. It's 25, going on 25 years, or 24 years, I'm sorry. So I don't have those same desires to be like, all right, well, let me lose this focus and chase this versus, no, I got to take care of this kid. Like, I got to figure this out. So I think sometimes people's circumstances could change, whether daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, to where you might have to sometimes detach yourself because someone's goals may not align with yours, and that's all it is.
And so I want people to really hear that, right? So I'm older than you.
Yes.
And so we always look at this next generation and kind of figure out what are they doing, what are they thinking about. And so I really would like to highlight, just in case someone missed it, you took that old saying, you never lose a woman by chasing money, but you can lose money chasing women.
Yeah.
And that's an old adage, but I like the fact that you were focused on bettering yourself and pursuing your dream. And I want people who are in your age group and younger to understand that it's not that club life, it's not those things that will provide you temporary joy or fulfillment.
Right.
It's working to get those things that will provide long lasting.
Yes.
And so I go through the same thing. You know, this week I was at the MLB All-Star game.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Right? And so I left in the fifth inning. And I had guys who flew in town, right? One of my guys brought in a guy who was part owner of a baseball team. They was like, we're going to go out, we're going to blow, we're going to do, I was like, man, I got to go.
Damn, I don't know. I would have probably stayed.
No.
I don't know. I would have.
Because like you, staying focused, I have a client that I have to take care of that next day.
Oh, there you go.
Right? And taking care of that client and my reputation at doing my job and being good at my job means more to me than that 2 hours of what is alleged to be a good time that can turn into a headache and a bad time in the morning.
Yeah.
And so I'm proud to know you and know that you have that kind of determination and focus, even though you just admitted you probably would have went out.
Yeah, no. Again, I ain't gonna lie. I've seen some high-profile lawyers in Dallas partying like a mug. I ain't gonna lie. I've seen them in a few spots partying like a mug. But you had said something there in which it's funny because a lot of guys are doing this now, and I want to tell guys to stop. Don't do this so much. When you chase your dreams so much and chasing, they don't have to be women, but chasing the money or the thought of success, that if you have children, you have a girl, you're neglecting what's at home. I've seen, even in our run, some of my partners, I've seen them chase this so much that they lost their girl because they weren't paying attention to their needs at home. And they were chasing, not women, but chasing this dream. And it's crazy when you get finally to success, because it took a while. The Street Starz started in 2014. RealLyfe Productions, which our production house, started way before that. But Street Starz started in 2014. We didn't start making money as far as any type of profit until 2020, 2021, after COVID. Probably 2021 more so. So that's 6-7 years where a woman has to be like, you're taking money from this house to invest in yourself. And year by year, I'm not taking no trips. I'm not shopping and buying no Chanel bags. This dream you're selling me is not happening, and some women don't have the fortitude to stand there. That's why it's hard. You kind of got to get married early, I guess, because a girlfriend could walk away and then someone new could come in and take all that. But with that being said, as long as you're purposeful and you're passionate about your dream, I will tell the young kids out there to, yes, do focus on your dream. And if there's anyone, even a girl that you're not married to or have children by, if they're not trying to help you get to your goal, then you might need to reassess your situation, is all I'm saying.
And we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
With my situation, being married to my wife and having that understanding that what you just said, they may lose them, but what do they say? Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah.
And fire burns out impurities so that you get to the gold.
Correct.
And so, if you have someone in your life who is not necessarily there for you and understanding that the dream that you're searching for is for both of you, they may not be the right person for you.
Correct.
Because at the same time, and I'll talk about this at a later series, I was homeless with 3 kids.
Whenever people say homeless, what level of homeless? Because
I was living in a room smaller than we are right now.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Sleeping on air mattresses in somebody else's house. And whenever I could get $100, I would go spend one night in one of the weekly hotels if I could catch the right rate.
I know what you mean. Oh, yeah. Nah,
and so I'll tell more details. We ain't gonna spill it on this one.
Yeah. Okay,
but let me just say this: that movie with Will Smith,
Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah.
I couldn't watch it because I would break down because it was my life.
Man, I don't have those stories. I had never again, having a kid young, you're back against the wall. You're going to figure it out. I mean, there was times that I don't have a criminal history or criminal background, but there's times I have to do some shady things just to feed my son. And I'm like, by any means. And again, I'm glad to be on that. But again, everyone has a testimony. Everyone has a story to tell. Everyone has a story to tell. And that's, again, it's funny because you can find everything we're saying, there's success stories and there's failures. Mm-hmm. And it's like you got to pick and pull between what works in your life, because I could tell you, hey, chase the dream and you could get to success. But also you can chase a dream and, you could have nothing at the end as far as, getting too engrossed in what you're doing. So, yeah, it could go both ways. Both ways.
And absolutely, man. And the thing is, what is that other saying? Yeah. You miss 100% of every shot that you don't take.
That is correct. Well, are you a religious man?
I am. I am.
Do you lean on religion as far as for a lot of things you do?
Yes.
Staying prayed up or anything of that nature to say, all right, let me give the glory to who I need to give it to.
All right, man, look here. I think I told you guys yesterday that one of my things is that I felt like God has never let me down and let my clients down when I was in line with what he asked me to do and moved as he directed me. So if I'm telling my client, hey, I need you to go to Oak Cliff and go to this store and buy a Snickers bar, it ain't just because I need a Snickers bar. It's because something I felt like I've been instructed to tell you. Mm-hmm. But when they do it, they go home.
There you go.
Or their case is successful to their liking.
There you go.
And so I'm real big on being humble and obedient to what some may call their spirit man and what they say. Because, the flesh will lead you wrong
oh man,
all day, every day.
I'm telling you.
But if you take that, whether you're religious or not, when people say, it's this little voice that was telling me, find a way to translate and understand and hear that little voice, because it's something in you telling you not to do something or to do something.
Correct. That Snicker bar story, is that something real?
No, it's
okay.
But you know what?
You said it was for cheesecake to go to walk to Brooklyn or something?
Hey, man, look here. But it's kind of like what we talked about when I was on your show. I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
I never sought to be in entertainment or to be in the public.
Yeah.
But right off the gate, I'm meeting people like yourself, and your stories and what I have to bring to the table. If we can help and transform one individual's life that will help generations,
yes,
then it's worth it.
Yes.
It's worth it, because when you put yourself out here, to get attacked.
Correct.
Because it's somebody with nothing to do but so much.
It happened already.
But so much to say.
Yeah, it happened the moment I started putting myself out here, and I attached myself to someone that we both know, and they came. I'm like, wow, this is. But I got thick skin, so not too much rattles me. They call me the Joker, and I got that moniker when I was younger because not because I'm funny or nothing, but it's just more so I look at life glass half full. Mm-hmm. I never really go on the pessimistic side of things. Mm-hmm. I kind of take life, just with a grain of salt, and I always used to say, like, man, life's just a big joke. I'm just waiting on the punchline, and so my girl just gets mad at me at times because you just don't take nothing serious. I said, man, the moment I'm taking stuff serious, I'm stressed. The moment I'm stressed, I'm not going to be capable to function at the best of my ability. So I try to have nothing but good energy around me, and just have, I don't know what it is, the aura of people just to be good. The moment I feel like, because we had another guy who was there who said, I got to keep a gun on me. And I felt your argument with him, like, man, it seems like you got to keep a gun. It seems like you're inviting that in your world. I don't have to have a gun on me because I just don't invite that energy of even have to look over my shoulder. If it happens, again, I'm religious as well. If something happens, it happens. But I just don't go around the way around of no anyone around me. We are good. We are protected. We are coveted. So, I think that works best for me. It has worked for me thus far in my life.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of go from there. But I know you're going to lean towards, getting a message to kids. I got a lot to say about that, but I'll let you go.
No, do you know what, man? Look, this is this is your home, and I want you to speak because, like I said, this show is dedicated to bringing in everyday people, and then also people that people don't understand. You know, politicians. I'm real big into politics.
You liked Amber Rose when she went to the RNC? You love that look?
Look, man, everybody is entitled to do with their life whatever they want to. But if she wants to learn something, she needs to look at what happened with Stacey Dash.
Yeah, man. Oh,
and so there's a number of individuals that you can see that have jumped into that position, and I just haven't seen anyone prosper from that type of deal.
Yeah.
And and this is not personal, this is not party.
Yeah, just history. This is history.
Yeah,
you just look at history.
Right. And so, I tell people I've had the privilege of working for both some of the most powerful Republicans as well as some of the most powerful Democrats.
Yeah.
As a lawyer. And so I've gotten to see behind the curtain of both parties.
Right.
And so, and like I told you yesterday, I am for what's right and what will move the community and people forward for generational opportunities.
Correct.
That's the side I'm on.
Correct. You had mentioned as far as speaking on what our purpose was of starting RealLyfe Street Starz.
Let's talk about that, man.
Yeah, you're from Florida, first
Right.
and foremost. You come to Texas.
Correct.
And you're in Houston. And what was, when you were coming up, and again, this is from the 90s, Katrina, all this stuff. What are your thoughts on Dallas? When you were growing up, what were your thoughts? And I don't say Dallas. Well, let's speak on Dallas, but I really want to lean towards the entertainment side. And that's why I'm going to kind of tell you how RealLyfe became what we became.
Okay. And there's no shade on either city. I told you yesterday, Houston was more based on economics.
Yes.
Right? If you made $50,000 a year, whether you were white, black, Asian, Hispanic, you lived in this community. Sure. And so we grew up with everyone. I grew up eating vegetarian meals from a Muslim family that lived across the street when I wouldn't even eat my mom's vegetables. And that kind of pissed her off because she was like, you don't eat my vegetables. And I was like, your vegetables don't taste like their vegetables.
I'm saying.
And so, we ain't never used curry over here. And so I got a taste of a gamut of all communities. That's why I can cook lupia. I can cook Filipino dishes. I can cook Chinese dishes. I can cook Italian dishes. And so my palate as well as my understanding of cultures is different. And so when I moved to Dallas and told people I wanted to go to Galleria, the first thing someone said was, black people don't go north of 30.
Yeah, that was a thing.
And so, looking at that, and it's not anything I'm making up. And if anybody thinks I'm making it up, go to the Dallas Morning News and read the decades of articles about the Red Line. Yes. And the difference between the financing and opportunities in North Dallas and South Dallas, as well as education in North Dallas and South Dallas. And so all of that plays a significant role in opportunities and entertainment and what people are able to do.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, that was Mo, and our sound man, and you would think that he would turn his phone off, but
I expect the sound man to have sound. I expect the sound man to have some sound.
There you go. There you go.
I expect the video man to have some video.
There you go. But Mo and Chris are my dudes. But man,
shout out Mo and Chris.
Talk to me about real life Street Starz and Dallas and entertainment.
When we started, the biggest artists out of Dallas, Vanilla Ice, DOC, Erykah Badu. Mind you, me and my young guys, we start rapping ourselves. We start rapping. We had CDs in Europe, Deca Boys. If anybody in Dallas knows, y'all hear the name Deca Boys, y'all know what it is. We was all up and down Deep Ellum in those days. But rap, this is, back when, people trying to make that one-hit wonder song, it just wasn't working. So we opened up a studio. Said, hey, we got to save money instead of buying studio time, let's get our own studio. So we started that. We didn't have nobody shoot our videos, so we started shooting our own videos. After a while, we started noticing that the entertainment market was Houston. This is going back into the Swisher House, Michael Watts, and even before that with Jay Prince.
People I grew
and
up
Rap
with.
A Lot. Yeah, so see, there you go. So you already know, yeah, north side.
So
Greensport.
wait, the north side and south side.
Yeah,
So I was there.
Was it really that a difference between the north and the south though? Like,
Man, it became a strife in the late '80s and '90s when people started wearing hats that said North Side and South Side. But I remember going out and seeing Willie D and
shout out Willie D for real.
and people don't even know this, but the first group, and they used to do house parties with back in the day, was Royal Flush.
Oh man, hold on.
Royal Flush was the Ghetto Boys before the Ghetto Boys.
Oh man, okay.
And so, but
Education.
but go on.
Yeah. So with that being said, and and again, I would be jealous of Houston. I used to come to Kappa Beach and stuff. I'm like, man, Houston has it popping, and Dallas just didn't have nothing happening. We had some guys in high school that again, I went to school with like Lil Will, my Dougie, and we started saying that we're not getting the same type of stardom that a Lil Flip was getting in Houston, where you hear him with a $20 million deal. Lil Will has my Dougie. How come he doesn't have a $20 million deal? How come he isn't being able to open up a supermarket with the kind of money he's making? So we said that Dallas had a void when it comes to the entertainment and the people of the entertainment world having a voice here. You look at LA, you look at Miami, New York, Detroit, Chicago, Houston. Everyone seems to have some type of basis to go either on radio or do something to where there was before you get to radio, there's like either a show you go on or something, some type of entertainment, form of entertainment to be able to have people get their voices out. So we started the Street Starz and we hit the ground running, where we said, hey, let's start this and let's interview. We did a couple of early interviews, but we said, let's get Mr. Pookie and Mr. Lucci, who are big in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go for, at the time, Lil Ronnie had Throw That in a Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth Vega, some other people, Papa Ron. These are the people who have notoriety. And we said, let's get their stories out. Let's give them a high-class look. And mind you, that light wall that you were sitting behind, we bought that from a Playboy photographer who was right up the street on Empire. And he was closing down his studio on Empire and 35 right here. And he had a whole studio. He's like, I'm about to move to Miami, do the Playboy dream. And he had that light wall. He's like, I'll sell it to you guys, man, at $800. And we didn't have it. We're broke. We're like, man, we don't got no $800. So it was like me and my guy, we're like, man, let's just put something together. Let's go. I'm going to go withdraw my account negative because I don't know what that light wall is. This is, I guess you call it divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
I said, we got to get that thing. I don't know what we're going to do with it. We got to get it. So we buy it. We get it. We put it there. We start taking a couple photos, because we're photographers as well. We start off as photographers as well. So we're taking pictures, and it wasn't until we interviewed the late, great Mo 3. And we interviewed him in a little room like this, where we had 2 chairs. And then he was like, man, let's go do the interview in front of that wall. Like, let's do it in front of that. And we're like, nah, that's normally for pictures. But my partners ended up going to do the interview, and my partner Rook, you saw last night, the gun-toting Rook.
Yeah.
He was like, man, this was a dope look. We should call it something. RealLyfe Street Starz. And that's how the birth of RealLyfe Street Starz began. And then therefore we started just booking people. And it was surprising to see how many people want to tell their stories, especially in Dallas. Because Dallas has a lot of talent. But we don't have the outlets to get that. And I think the floodgates open right then, because everyone had a story right then. Like, oh, now mind you, a lot of the OGs didn't want to talk. Like you would have like a Willie D or somebody who'd be like, man, these stories going to stay with me for my autobiography. But I guess some people just got lazy, or not lazy, but just like, I ain't got to wait for that. I'm going to go ahead and give some of my story out. So even for you to sit down for 3 hours and give your story, you don't have to do that. You can save that for your autobiography. But to be able to say or have enough confidence in our platform to respect your story, to say, hey, I'm going to go on your situation. We've done that. Man, I was on YouTube the other day and said we have uploaded over 10,000 videos. I said, wow. They're not all interviews, but I'm assuming we at least did over 1,000 interviews, at least. I'm like, man, that's...
Yeah, you did.
I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of people to talk to. That's a lot of people.
And so let me ask you this, man. You guys are photographers. Let's go back. You guys are photographers.
Correct.
You buy this wall.
Yeah.
That costs more than what you have.
Yeah.
What was really? I mean, what else besides just wanting to create a entertainment plug? Were you trying to do? What was really when you first started? What was the catalyst that made you say, or better yet, what was the main goal starting off? Because it sounds like it was photography.
We had a mission statement. We had a mission statement because we weren't a business yet. We weren't an LLC or anything of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Our original statement, like, man, our goal is to put Dallas on. That was it. And whenever we have interviews and we talk to people like, what's your goal? And our goal is just to put Dallas on. Because mind you, at the time, Dallas wasn't on. We didn't have our run with the Rally Boys and Pookie and Lucci, and Lucci had went to jail, and it's like there was no. This is before Yella Beezy, Erykah Badu is all we had. This is even before like the Rose ice cream paint job was just kind of coming along. But so before that, it's like Dallas had nothing. Again, I'm just curious how it looked in Houston. Like, what them Dallas boys doing up there? Because mind you, y'all had the Swish House era, but we had DSR and T-Town, and we had something coming. But even that, they broke up. So it's like, Dallas can't get past bad management, it seems. And I want to blame it on bad management, but it seems that was a stigma that was kind of floating around, like just the deals weren't managed correctly.
You know, for my travels, man, it's about the progression of each city. When you look at those cities that you talk about, black leadership is king. In Dallas,
I think we had a lack of it, but go ahead.
Exactly. In Dallas, you guys didn't have, people like Commissioner and Price in power at that point,
No.
right?
We had what's her name? Anna. What was our mayor's name? She shut down the club Platinum 2.
Ann Richards.
Yeah, we had Ann Richards. Her husband got caught in the strip
Not
club.
Ann Richards.
Was it Ann Richards? It was Ann.
Laura Miller.
Laura Miller, I think. Laura Miller. I want to lean towards Laura.
Governor.
Yeah, it was Laura Miller who found her husband in that club up the street, and man, it was hard times.
But a large, like when I travel to Atlanta and DC, and I go to cities like that and cities that you talked about, you see that young black people have people in leadership that they see. So that I think that's also part of the catalyst to give people that understanding that they can do whatever they put their minds to.
Correct.
When you don't see that, you kind of left with whatever's in your community. Yes. And so one of the things that I always laugh about, one of the reasons why I moved to Dallas, one of my best friends I met in college. Yeah. And so I'm like the godfather to all his kids. When I first came down here, all they ate was catfish nuggets. And I was like, what's a catfish nugget? It ain't no redfish, it's no, it's no bass. I mean, what's a catfish nugget? And I tried to introduce, he came to my house and he was like, hey man, what's this redfish and shrimp and blue crabs?
Yeah.
What's this
Right.
what's this seafood? Now my man is eating oysters and
he didn't know. His palate was simplified.
Right.
He opened it up.
Right. So not just me, but when he excelled in his career, he saw more, so he did more. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons and one of the things that I want to do with this platform, and I'm hoping, and I know that you're doing with your platform, is that when people see more, they can do more.
Yeah, I think we inspired a lot of people to pick up podcasting. It's crazy. I'm looking at rappers now who I respected back then are picking up this platform, and I'm open to it. I'm like, man, it's when we grew up, it's all you knew was to be a rapper or a ball player. That's the only way you could be looking like the dope dealer, or the guy with the. You can't have a chain unless you're a rapper, unless you're a football player. There are no other avenues. You're not going to be the manager of the rapper. You're not going to be the person who handles their books, their accountant, looking like that. You can't still own your essence of who you are and still go to work normally and still, unless you're the rapper or that. So I think when we start picking up the cameras, becoming photographers, because I feel like me and my guys were all talented. Like we have talent.
You are.
I think we
shout
started
out to Rook.
Yeah, shout out to Rook,
the chess master himself.
Yeah, the chess master himself, and we have these talents to where I'm like, can we eat off of this? Now, mind you, right? There's no one that paved the way before us to say, hey, yeah, here's what you need to do. Mm-hmm. Here's how you need to do it. Let me show you. So to figure out yourself, and even now, if I, again, I'm not here to boast or brag, but to say, hey, man, I was able to get a Porsche. I paid it off cash. I'm able to, get a house. I'm able to buy my girl a Mercedes-Benz cash. Most people don't, you don't, like, from the blogs, like from blogging, like from talking, like what? There's no one before us that, I might go look at Clarice Tinsley or, someone from Fox 4 News or something, but no one in the hip hop industry has done that. But there are people outside of here in Miami and Houston, in LA that has success. So I think one of our biggest goals was to be able to start in Dallas and stay in Dallas. There's been multiple times we thought about leaving the city. We were on the brink of, we're going to Atlanta. We're going to Houston. Like there's nothing in Dallas for us here. We have to move. But we stayed prideful. We stayed true to who we are in the city. And we found success to where now, I think when artists do come, we have like Saturday, we have Michael Collier. He's a guy, I love House Party 3. I love seeing him, it's 1 o'clock. And I'm like, to be able to have him call and say, hey, man, I would love to come on your platform when I come do my show. Brandon T. Jackson was just here. For him to call and say, hey, I got a show Sunday. Can I please come by your platform? That's amazing for people to tap in versus even saying, I need to go to a radio station. They're like, no, you guys have power in these streets. I need to tap into that. So I guess it does take consistency. So I will say that to the young kids at home. There's a lot of times we would have gave up. A lot, man. If I could tell you about the downtimes, boy.
Brother.
Boy.
Look. You've already established that you ain't never slept on an air mattress with your kid in a room as small as this.
I will say this.
So I know.
I did sleep in a car with my son. That was one day though. It only took a day.
There you go.
It only took a day.
They
I said, me and my girl, them seats let back, and then man, it only took. And it's cold. It was a cold winter. It only took a day. I said, nah, we ain't doing this.
We ain't doing that.
Doing this.
And you know what? Same thing here. Mo, we ain't got no applause. We ain't got an applause button.
Oh yeah,
I can't hear it.
If I say,
all right.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm glad you're not doing this with headphones on, because you could be one of the podcasts that, hey, we're gonna keep these headphones on, but you have to respect the ladies that come on the show, the men that like to wear their hair all kind of, or hats. Some headphones don't work for everybody. So I'm glad that, on the production crew, y'all able to get through this without headphones.
So Chris laughing because I have headphones, and he's like, man, no, we're not doing headphones.
I promise you're gonna run into problems. We like, we can't. We need them headphones, but her hair.
Yeah. And so speaking of hair, so I want to touch on two things that you said. Number one, I want you to remember this for Real Life Street Stars. Yeah. You said you paid your car off in cash.
Yes.
You're going to have me back on your show, and I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do that.
Oh yeah, no. I messed up by doing that.
I
won't do it again.
No, I'm going to tell you.
But I want you to please tell our people so they can get educated, because I thought I was flexing like, oh, cash car. Hey, I'm at the lot like, yeah, just sign the die. I'm good, And no, I should never did that.
Yeah, I'll tell you why you shouldn't do that. And then you talked about appearance, right? And you talked about rappers and athletes. We're going to do pre or post production of this. We're going to put a picture of me up prior, maybe 8 years ago. Brother, I look more like Obama than Obama. No facial hair, military high cut fade, because I was told that was the look of someone who a professional.
Yeah.
People told me only people who have hair on their face are bank robbers and criminals, because they're trying to hide their face. And so I worked for a member of Congress, and when Obama won, it got worse, and people, whether I had on a plain suit or anything, I got that smoke. So my wife said, babe, I love your hair. And
This 8 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, and so I went to go to the barbershop, and I was going to get my hair cut, and I looked in the mirror, and I said to myself, my grandmother always loved how curly my hair was. And she said, baby, can I have your hair? And I was like, Grandma, you can have anything you want. I lost both of my grandmothers to cancer, and my wife had breast cancer. So we're gonna do another series.
Yeah,
so
we got to, because that's a whole situation.
We're gonna talk about that. We have a breast cancer foundation, my wife and I.
Oh yeah, I'm very big on that.
And so, you know, and I for about a year, I didn't realize I hadn't got a haircut. All I did was get an edge up, and all of a sudden I got this curly fro, and so my hair is the type of hair that after it grows a certain length, it drops.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I've seen pictures.
Yeah. And so sometimes I get confused when I'm in the West Coast of being one of my Samoan brothers.
Yeah. I seen pictures of you. I can see that.
And so, you know, but what touched me was I was in the court, and you know, you've heard about me in the courtroom or in the courthouse. This young brother walked up to me and said, "Are you a lawyer?" I said, "Yes." And he had dreads. He said, "I told you, mama, I can be a lawyer regardless of how I look." And that meant so much to me. And so now I've gone the total opposite of being conservative and superflex. And so, you know, the beard, the hair, but it doesn't stop the results and the quality of my work. And quite honestly, it's actually excelled my career in a sense that even though, you know, I love fashion. Yeah. I love fashion, as you can see.
Oh yeah, come on now.
As you can
come
see.
On now. Come on now.
See, I love fashion.
Come on.
But having those multiple layers, everybody doesn't have to look like President Obama.
Yeah, that's true.
Some people can look like yourself. It's the quality of the work.
Correct.
And the character of the man that decides the elevation of his success.
Correct. But you also told a story of walking into court with just a T-shirt on. And sure enough, they questioned, "Sir, are you supposed to be here?"
Yeah.
I would love for a lawyer to be able to win a case wearing whatever he wanted. Now, mind you, I know we're not there yet.
You
but
won't.
If he could,
you won't be there.
Okay.
You won't be there. There is rules set for how officers of the court are supposed to be dressed.
Okay.
Watch this. I'll hit you with one more. And as recently as maybe 5 to 8 years, it might still be going on. Women could not wear pants to court.
Wow.
Women could not wear pantsuits to court.
So the dress skirts and
judges would require women to wear dresses to court.
Wow. How
sexist and, you know, dumb is that?
It doesn't even sound logical. It doesn't sound logical.
It has nothing to do with the quality of her work and what she's able to do in representing her client.
I wonder what the reason for that is. That has to be a male judge that made that rule.
Man, you have male and female judges who potentially followed that same criteria.
Interesting.
You know, different parts of the country. You know, it's a thing. And so you have to, you know, you're looking at that. So I will never be able to try a case, you know, with a good pump and a
Could you wear J's? Could you wear J's in court? Let me just ask you that.
You know what? You may be able to get away with that.
Okay.
Only because the footwear for most people have changed. But at the same time, if you did trial, do you really want to risk that? Because the ideal of a trial in some cases is to, you know, not tip the hand of a decision.
Very true.
Based
on
off
personal.
Yeah. Based on something.
I say it to say that I would love for a young high school kid to get motivated to get to your status as an attorney and say, look, Ma, he didn't have to wear those church shoes he always maybe wore. He is wearing those number ones, and I want to be that. Because that's sometimes all it takes is like, some people will say, hey, I don't want to be a doctor and attorney because of certain rules and standards of society put on these jobs. But to say, hey, man, he's changing the mold of it, and this is a new look. Again, we're not there yet. I know we're not there yet. But I can see kids in inner cities, or just, you know, I know how I was. I would be motivated by, I see him getting out of a nice car, and he looks like me. And damn it, I want to do it too. Damn it, I want to do it too.
Well, I tell you what, I think I push the envelope more than many.
There you go.
My laceless all white
Yeah.
Nike nurse shoes.
Yeah, those could probably fly.
I popped them off. I have 12 pair.
Okay.
Like when they stopped making them, I bought all I could find.
And slide right in them.
Dude, and they fit comfortably, and I can walk around and my feet don't hurt.
There you go.
And so, but I also own like 6 pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah, you know your environment.
Yeah.
You know your environment.
I like boots. I like boots.
I love
But these shoes that I wear, I started wearing them because I did want to push that envelope. I did want to make sure that if I could be an example to a young kid in urban America, that I was relatable, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes in our communities, we see people who have a status and they're unapproachable,
Yeah.
right? And so someone comes to church, they're a lawyer or someone that someone may hold in high regard, and little kid says, I want to go, and they be like, baby, don't bother them.
Yeah. No,
I don't want to be that. Come bother me.
Right. Right.
Come talk to me.
Right.
Ask me a question, because I joined my fraternity for that simple reason, that somebody was approachable when I was like 9 years old, and I loved what he had to say, so that when I turned 19 and had the opportunity, I did exactly that.
That's funny. I know we're going to talk about like our guests and stuff, but that's one thing that I do cherish with what we do is sometimes you can meet people that you had a preconceived notion on, and they could either meet your expectations or fall short of them. There are some people that I had a preconceived notion, and my whole outlook changed based on their demeanor. Maybe I thought they weren't approachable, like, this is gonna be hard. And then when they walk in the room, they're like shaking everybody's hand, and they start asking questions. But hey, man, wow, you just made it that much easier, because I was going into this interview thinking that, this person's stuck up or this person's on this type of level, and they come in and their demeanor is just more inviting. So I'm glad that you had that. I'm glad that you have that, because you do want that child to come to you and say, hey, I want to ask you a question. And yeah, no, I am approachable. So that's very important. It's very important, I will say.
So you talked about guests.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. And you know what? Speaking of people who are approachable, and we talked about Houston, let me get a shout out to two of my guys, man. They performed at my birthday parties. Bun B and Slim Thug.
Oh, man, come on now.
Man, look here. Them guys, man.
How you get a Bun B and Slim Thug performance?
I'm from Houston, baby. And so, those guys, man, mingled with their fans to the point where I like, are they guests or are they performers?
And Bun B's definitely gonna.
And so shout out to Trio Burgers and the whole nine.
Yes,
and
sir.
So, but I learned so much even in that moment.
Yeah.
Because those guys could have performed. The door they came in didn't go to general population. So they could have performed, walked out the back, and been gone.
Done.
But these dudes walk out, go downstairs. I turn around 45 minutes later, Slim's still taking pictures.
See, man.
And that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. That's what, kind of what I strive to do and strive to be as well, is just to be approachable. I'm not a Slim Thug or a Bun B by no means. Yeah. But, if there's someone who does find it, how should I say it, warranted to come and talk to me, I want to do that. But let's talk about your guests, man, and some of the things that you've had going on the show.
All right, so I know a lot of people love to ask, who's your most memorable guest or your favorite interview and things like that. Just to give, your audience some of the people that we've done, and I'm just going to try to go off the top of the head because we've done so many, but the ones that come to mind that people would know, of course, we did Mark Cuban. He came and sat down, and people always ask, how do you get Mark Cuban on a podcast? You don't. Mark Cuban, he has to you don't pay for it. You don't call his assistant and say, hey, he has to either know you and just want to do it, or just things have to align. But shout out to Mark Cuban. He came right before the Kyrie trade. We had, of course, we're famous for our Jaguar Wright and our Charleston White interviews, because those go so viral. I guess we live in a society where they just love the truth now. ooh, the truth about Hollywood, truth, raise the curtain. So we done those, but more notoriety ones is we just did Cornel West. We had Bow Wow, we had Orlando Brown, that he's on the Charleston White side of things, but Mark Henry, WWE, and I'm a WWF fan. So to have Mark Henry there telling rock stories, amazing. And also I forgot the manager, I forgot the black guy's name that was there. Anyway, but we had a few wrestlers, but we've when it comes to side, not Royce the 5'9", Twister we had, Bizarre from D12,
So you had let's just say this, man.
Yeah.
You like that song said, we have a whole lot of superstars.
We have a whole lot of superstars
in the house tonight.
What I would say is this: my goal, my personal goal, who always I wanted personally, and hopefully she sees this, and this is before Drake or anybody, is Erykah Badu. We haven't had Erykah Badu, and we're from the city. When we first started, this is for me personally, it's not for my guys. For me personally, I said, man, if we do this thing and we ever have a situation where Erykah Badu comes, sits down, and talks with us, and just give us a story, that'll mean the world to me. That to have a goal, have a thought,
have Dallas.
Have Dallas.
She is Dallas.
Exactly, man.
Whatever letters you choose to say about what part of Dallas she is Dallas.
She is
Dallas.
So that is my dream interview. Again, I put that over Jay-Z to me. I would love to sit down with Jay-Z, but that's cool. But to save some young kids from Dallas got to the level of saying, I'm going to do something out of nothing and have the Dallas's biggest star come sit down, that'll be amazing.
You know what, man? I just saved myself a lot of money as a lawyer. I know that people can get paid for being injured. And I almost sung a verse from Bag Lady that would have pierced people's ears and possibly ruined music forever for them. So
you about to let her know that?
I was trying to let her know. And Mo, if Mo would have seen me about to sing, he would have known, because Mo and we used to be on the radio together. Yeah. And Mo has seen my musical talents. And so
you start cleaning your throat a little bit?
Man, look here, man. In church, I was like the baby brother. Yeah. So the pastor had like 9 brothers, and I was the baby brother. Yeah. And I was in the men's choir. Okay. I got to church and got to singing in the choir. Them boys that were bigger than me was grabbing my ribs. Yeah. Pastor said, the Bible says the Lord likes a cheerful noise. Yeah. So we're going to ask you to mouth the words. Yeah. I got happy in church one day in the choir and tried to start singing. Man, them brothers looked at me like, no, man. Stop it. Stop it. So saying that, man, I'm not that my talent is not music, but man, tell us some of those moments with some of those artists. Like, what did they say and how did they react, and how did your viewers react?
Yeah, I will give it to you like this. There are moments, again, a lot with Charleston White where we, shut up and he's preaching and it's like, oh. But I think the more thing that hits me is like when I go back and, I watch like a Mo3 interview and he gives an analogy like, man, when you're way up here, people are still down here, they're going to be trying to poke you to get back down here. Like, why are you so up there? Why we can't reach you now? We need to bring him back down here. And for him to be slain, we kind of, again, we do rappers, but man, when I tell you over 20 to 30 people have passed away from being on our couch, it let me know that what we're doing is more for legacy. For you to come tell your story, your children's children's children will have something to fall back on and say, I wonder how my pops was back in 2024. I wonder what was on his mind. And we're capturing those moments. So to see even the young people that's, see struggle, there's some, I don't want to start naming the ones that aren't here anymore, but to see them come on the couch and then not to be here no more, to say, let me go back and, we just had a recent passing of Gucci Mane's artist name in Channing, to where when she passed away, I was able to go back and look at her interview and what she wanted for the R&B culture of just the world, that it hits harder now because
Can you discuss how she passed away?
They say it was due to overdose, but they also say it was due to withdrawals from
drug
drugs addiction. Which I don't know. Is that possible to pass away from?
Yeah. And I talked about it yesterday that I actually worked on the opioid litigation.
Correct. Yes.
And so one of the reasons why I worked on that so adamantly is so that we can bring resources to the urban community so that things like that don't happen. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So no. She passed away recently due to either withdrawals or due to some type of dealing with drugs. And mind you, she had just got released from Gucci Mane's label, came to Houston, signed with a new label in Houston. It wasn't Jay Prince, but it was, let's just say it was someone around Houston, and then came to Dallas to work. And just weeks within that, she's no longer here. And now her legacy will go on, but her telling her story is finite. So to be able to have that to fall back on, it's like Fahrenheit 451 or something, you know what I'm saying, where they burn all the books. We don't need the history of what's going on. What we're doing is we're collecting history on all these people, yourself and everyone else. So I now understand the reason why people want to be on the show so bad, because they're like, you guys are tapping into things that I don't even ask myself. It's almost therapy. Or I'm recollecting things that I don't even talk about. So with that being said, moments, favorite moments, or like moments to where our audience really geared towards. We just had an interview yesterday. I want, as this comes out, I want people to go watch it, because this is one of the most touching interviews we had. Was a guy named Vernon, just a normal guy from Shreveport. He tells the story of being violated in prison when he first got there in Leavenworth at age 21 after being caught from robbing a bank. And he said he wanted to tell that story because he said, I see you guys have a lot of rappers or even people from prison that talk on this platform, but no one ever speaks from a victim side of being essayed, assaulted in prison as a man. And mind you, he's not homosexual or anything of that nature. He went on to live a normal life, but that is a demon that haunts him. And he went into detail about what happened. And hopefully young kids who are out here taking penitentiary chances could watch that interview and say, I see him in myself, and that same thing could happen to me, because he went in very green at 21 years old. And a guy who had been there, a lifer probably, preyed on him. And it was all in his face. And he didn't know that it happened until it was happening. And he's like, damn. So to get those kind of stories, I think we're getting beyond, because we used to just get rappers. We're getting beyond just the rap stories. Now we're getting attorneys telling their stories. Now we're getting, officials. We had, what's her name? Jasmine Crockett. She came in and sat down with us. And it's funny to see her before she ran for Senate. And now to see her Congress, I'm sorry, to see her, with the, how she went viral recently. I was like, man, we tapped into her way back when she was just in district, in the Oak Cliff, or whatever district number it was. So I'm like, man, it's amazing to get these stories and have this as a history of Dallas. So I think that's why we can never leave the city. We're collecting the history of Dallas. So if anybody ever said, I don't know nothing about Dallas, and I moved here 100 years from now, they said, let me tap into the RealLyfe Street Starz channel, and they can probably get a good education on everything Dallas right there.
You know what? I want to try to get someone to come talk to you. Antoine Lucky. You heard that name before?
Antoine Lucky, that's the homie, man. Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That's the homie.
Has he been on the show?
He's been on the show, but let me tell you what I told him, and he'll watch this too. I said, Antoine, because you changed your life, I would want to have a conversation with you about those dark times, and then transition to what you're doing now as far as the philanthropy, the nonprofits and things of that nature under Bishop Omar, and rest in peace, Bishop Omar.
Yeah,
I want to have a real conversation with him because I want people to know his story. So my fear was that he didn't want to do that. My fear was like, I got these, I got people watching, they don't even know the dark. But as I spoke to him, he said, no, I don't mind giving you that story. So yes, we do need to get him in as soon. And I know his daughter is, they're in the entertainment industry and things of that nature. So if I want to have a real conversation with him to tell his whole story.
That's my brother, man.
Yeah,
what a lot of people don't know about me, and I never really talk about, is that those brothers in those communities, I was there. I've been there with them,
man,
and pulling on them to do more and assisting to do better. So we talked about the radio show, right?
Yeah.
That was with Omar.
Oh.
I've been Omar's lawyer forever.
Oh, see, there you go. So I'll come full circle now.
Yeah,
I'll come full circle now.
Yeah. And so Mo was the producer.
Yeah.
And so man, I love that dude, man. I tell you what, and I'm just as honest as I can be. I don't think I've cried that hard over anybody.
Man.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Because, when George Floyd happened and the gangs took over I flew down there with him.
Man.
I never really, I told you I never really talk about some of the things that I do, but, when he went somewhere and it was something of that nature and it was possibly a legal question or some legal assistance that needed to be done, I went with him.
Man.
And he had to basically pull me to go up on stage and talk and say anything because I'm a servant.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I help and do what I feel like I've been called here to do or what I'm able to do to help. And so I just took a detour on that.
No, it's crazy because when you mentioned early on about, leaders or people ahead, he was a guy who again, my sister, you might have heard the story. My sister's son, which is my nephew, he was murdered in an Airbnb in Plano. And Bishop Omar was doing I forget the name of the campaign, but it was where he was talking to the violence in the community. And he brought my sister up there to speak on it. For what he was gearing into outside of, being a pastor and what this city needs. It's such a void now. And again, I know Anton and Corey and everyone's trying to fill the void, but I'm like, he was so needed at this time of what's going on. And Fort Worth was having their situation to where I'm like, you need boots on the ground from the place that you're in. I'm all for Al Sharpton coming to town if something, goes awry. But, man, Omar was one of those guys that he could mobilize right then and there, and everyone's there. So, no, definitely, man. Yeah, no, that's a detour that we need to take because I want people to understand what his legacy was. And I never got a chance to interview Bishop Omar. I hate that. But I did put together a panel in which I forgot, I think it was George Floyd, it was when George Floyd passed, where Bishop Omar came in, and Bebe from K104, and a lot of people were there, and we did a panel. It's funny because that only did like 2,000 views. I was like, man, people don't like positivity, I guess.
No, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
About how the consumer consumes and what they choose to consume.
Yeah.
And you see that. You see a model, an Instagram model who does a lingerie deal and it's 120,000 views, or clicks, or likes.
Yeah.
They post something about cerebral palsy, and it's 5.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like to support worthy causes? And I want people to really ask themselves, how do you go by and not somebody you follow?
Yeah.
And when they post something that's positive and not provocative, you skim right past that.
Yeah, no, it's as simple as this, man. Human nature is fallible, man. This building across the street could be a children's hospital that they start building 2 years ago, and then you're watching it, and you're slowly watching it slowly being built. They're creating a children's hospital, but it's not getting a lot of attention. Let a tornado come hit, and then that building crash down. Oh, it's going to be on the news for days and days, and the bodies aren't being found. And I don't know. I think human nature, we just like to see the train wreck versus how a train is built. When it comes to over-sexualizing things, like women, it's funny because Angel Reese, she's trending right now on Twitter just for wearing some booty shorts. I'm like, she actually steps out in shorts every day on the WNBA court, But it wasn't until she put on some Daisy Dukes where they're like, oh, I ain't know like that, boy, Angel Reese. I'm a fan now. Oh, you weren't a fan of her basketball skills or in college, but now.
Or standing up for herself,
yeah,
or speaking up for women, or the causes that she does. Yeah. I know about those. I don't know about the shorts.
Yeah. See, so you're in the small few. Because Twitter says different, that they know about the shorts. So it's just crazy how our attention, so when it comes to our content, people used to say, man, you guys are clickbaiting. We do this for a living. Like I was fortunate enough to not have worked a day job for the past 2 years by doing this. Mm-hmm. And yes, me posting that, if I use your interview and say, hey, lawyer gives good information on how to become an attorney and the struggles he went through, that won't
move the needle.
It won't move the needle. And it could tell a lot of kids of, oh, I need, and the ones who need to know, they'll tune in. But that doesn't pay the lights because it don't move the needle. But if I go with your story and say an attorney comes in, discusses why Diddy had it coming, and why YSL Woody did a bang up job. Oh yeah, we want to hear about how what's going on with YSL, and yeah, Diddy, he was guilty. I always knew it. So I understand that we live in a soap opera world, and I'm a fan of Young and the Restless. So trust me, I love a good cliffhanger. It keeps the world moving. It keeps me anticipated. So I think we just live in a soap opera world to where, yeah, I think the more provocative, the more demeaning, the more. It's funny. There's a movie with Chevy Chase, I think it's Vegas Vacation, one of the vacation movies, where he's driving through, I think, Chicago, and he's like, "Hey kids, look at all the Blythe." Yeah. Oh, they look at the Blythe, left and right. They look around you. Yeah. And I think that's America. We just love to look at the Blythe. And you had a good talker speak on voting. I think you telling kids to vote will fall on deaf ears on our platform. I'm just being honest. It'll hit a few people, but it'll fall on deaf ears because I think people want to see I'm not going to vote. I want to see anarchy. I want to see the system. I remember the Joker in The Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. He was like, you let people show who they really are. I'm just going to push. All it needs is a little push. I think society just wants to give it a little push to see society fail. We keep talking about the end of the world. I'm like, why does everybody want the world to end? Like, why is everybody waiting for it? Well, why do you want the rapture to happen? Why is that a thing? So I think we're just fixated on it. Movies make it, a thing. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, man.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because you and I probably definitely share that viewpoint in common. But the unknown of the chaos. Because if you think, that old song, if you think you're lonely now, wait until the night, girl.
Hey.
I can make a song. If you think you mistreated now, wait until you don't vote.
Come on,
boys and girls. If you think you got it bad now, wait until you don't vote.
So can you talk to my girl for a second? Because she said, I don't need to vote because Texas goes red anyway. Can you speak to her if you don't mind?
So for those of you who feel that your vote doesn't count, and if you're voting in an unwinnable situation, you're absolutely wrong. Because every time you vote, those numbers are calculated and added to, let's say, an algorithm to figure out how to get more people to vote and what's needed in order to switch and change things. When you don't vote, it's almost like the census. When you don't partake in the census and you live in an urban community that have bad roads and poor schools, and you don't fill out that census, the government doesn't know that there are actually 2,000 more kids in that school than they really know about, and so they need additional funding or they need to build a new school. Why do you think in quote-unquote other areas, new schools are being built like every 5 years? Because they're partaking into the system to say, hey, look at us over here. If a school is only supposed to have 3,000 and we have 5, you need to send us more money to build another school.
So stay right there. So the woman who has 3 kids and she's trying to go work at the Piggly Wiggly to go feed her kids. That's her main focus.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps hitting the same pothole in the road,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, "When is the city gonna fix this pothole?" How does she know who, what, and how to get this pothole fixed? What does the normal average citizen who doesn't worry about politics jump into? Say, let me get into this. Needs in 4 years, I would like to see this fixed. Like, what leads them to that? What information are they looking for when it comes to their elected officials and things of that nature?
So you can either do one or two things. You can either call your county office in Dallas. We have the county and city, right? You call those offices. You ask for information. You say, hey, look, I would like to report a hazardous road condition. They will then route you to that person. Then you also take a look at who is in leadership in that area. So if you're in Commissioner Price's area, or if you're in one of the city of Houston, someone from, I'm going to say city of Houston, city of Dallas leaders, districts, council members, you report that to their office. And then what you also do is you use social media and say, hey guys, this is the telephone number, this is the email address. Everyone who lives in this community, if you can email them and let them know that we have this, so that if enough voices are heard, they'll take action.
There you go.
And so look, man, the troubles that we face, we always want to individualize.
Yeah.
You know, the mother of 3, it's just me. No, it's 1,000 other mothers of 2s, 3s, 4s, and more who live in the same community. But if all of you get together, I want to sound like Big Mama, one finger.
Yeah. Come on.
Can't
now.
do much.
Come on.
But
now.
you ball all them fingers up and make a mighty fist.
Yeah.
That's what it takes to make change. That's why, you know, you talk about economics in other communities and the dollar not staying in the black community. Mm-hmm. It's because that fist hasn't been made. Now, we'll raise a fist in protest.
Oh, yeah.
We'll raise a fist for a video, for a picture. But we won't come together, you being the index finger and me being the thumb, come together and make a fist to make absolute change in our communities.
We got to do it.
But you and I are going to change that.
Yeah. Should they incentivize voting? They incentivize it now, but I think most people who work in corporate America, they get time off to go vote in November. They're like, hey, we'll give you 4 hours.
Right.
Should there be more incentive to get people out of their butts to go vote? Like, we'll give you a voucher for gas, $25 or something. Just show us your voter registration card, or show us that you voted.
I don't think you want to go. I don't think you want to go that far. I don't think you want to go that far. I don't think you want to subsidize voting. I think you want to leave it up to the educating of people and people's willingness to make change. I think that if you get into incentivizing, then you also get into criminalizing.
Well, they already feel it's corrupt.
No,
January 6th.
Right. But if I give out gas vouchers,
I mean, it's just to take care of you getting there. That's all it is.
I understand.
People will not vote because they don't have a way there. Free bus passes, a gas voucher.
They do now. There is.
Okay, I'm say there should be something to just say you just need to get there. That's
but there is bus transportation.
Okay.
You can dial a telephone number and basically get an Uber to pick you up to go vote.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Okay.
So during election time on our platform, we'll share with your platform.
Yeah, please.
We'll share information about what you can do and what resources are out there to go vote. But the danger about that is, over the last couple of years, it's been rolled back. Mm-hmm. So voting booths have been taken out of communities that normally vote heavily, that have been people of color. Opportunities to vote for the elderly and the indigent have been slowly eroded.
I saw that.
And so that's why voting is important, because tell your girl that her vote today could slow down or prevent the erosion for her to be able to vote tomorrow.
I feel that 1,000%, because you're right. They do pop up new voting locations, and they'd be like, I voted here last 4 years ago. Why isn't that the same? Well, I got to go further. So my pops is from Nigeria. And, I was involved in the voting process of Nigeria, or at least there's a guy named Peter Obi who was running for president, and it's so corrupt there. I think a lot of people think it's corrupt here as well, to where that when they say their vote don't matter, they mean like, well, it doesn't matter because the system's rigged anyway. The game is rigged, is what a lot of people feel. But what you're saying is it is not rigged. And even if it is rigged, enough voices could change the outlook on thoughts of it being rigged. If we say, hey, it was too close. Like a lot of elections have been so close where they're like, hey, we need a recount. And this is for presidency, not for general elections, but do we need a recount? I'd rather be close than a landslide to say like, no, we're that divided to where, it's right there on the cusp. It could have went one way or the other.
You want to win. You want to win. Let's just say hypothetically.
Yeah.
I do not prescribe to conspiracies. It's a lot easier to hide a box of 1,000 votes than it is several boxes of 20,000 votes.
That's real.
So make it difficult.
Right.
To play with the numbers.
Yeah.
Because if you look, even this last election, presidential election, when the numbers were so great and overwhelming that someone won, they were like, let's stop counting. It's over with.
Yeah, there's no point.
But when the numbers are close,
we got to keep counting. We got to go to the 0 hour.
we got to wait on Estachuan, Texas, population of 75.
We got to wait on it.
But
it's that close.
It's 75 people, but they got 10 points that they can add to the election. And, dude.
Yeah, no. And that's the point I like you making, because it could be that minute and could change, again, even if it goes your way or don't, because it was that close. It's got to get paid attention to.
Right. And it was 80 people in Dallas sitting in a bar across the street from a voting booth who didn't vote that could have outvoted those 75.
Yeah, man. I think we as black people, I think we gotta have like voting parties or something. Like, hey, Tuesday we gonna turn up and we all gonna get together and meet us at the something, because
maybe we do that. Yeah, maybe you and I do that.
We got to do something, because I think we got to make it fun.
Maybe we have a Street Starz / tailor-made law concert.
Oh man.
And you come with your I just voted sticker.
Yes.
And you get in.
That could be, yes. That might be the move.
That what?
Because that honestly will build up to the day of election, and at least say, I will want to make sure I'm part of that.
For early voting.
For early voting. Yes.
Not voting on the day.
Yeah, we can't do it on for
early voting.
You're right. We might do that.
Maybe we'll do a Super Sunday early voting party.
Yeah, it's crazy because, I know we look at Diddy, and I go back to him running the city and Diddy vote or die. I'm like, man, he was so detrimental. And I mean, it's just crazy how life could change so quick for you. Like, you were just vote or die, and we was, and now it's like, bro, you're in the hallway, oh man, kicking it. Oh man,
look here.
It's crazy.
Look. That is a very unfortunate situation. And what I want people to realize is I don't want to really focus on him.
Yeah, I never.
I'm going to tell you why. Because that young sister was humiliated, beaten, and man, that's somebody's daughter.
Yes.
Somebody's cousin, somebody's sister that happened to.
Without question.
Kicked. I've never kicked a dog like that.
Oh man, I ain't kicked the ball like that.
I don't kick dogs at all, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But I don't want the SPCA to come after.
Yeah, like wait a minute, he said he hasn't kicked it like that. Let's look into right.
Yeah. I don't want to. People play with words, but
yeah.
I have never done anything like that. But I am so focused on the mental health and well-being of these women.
Yes.
Right? Or these victims that have been harmed, because working with individuals who have been through that situation, like your guy, like Cassie, those type of things, man, leave scars. I remember a woman saying once, I wish he would have hit me. I wish he would have hit me because I could put ice on that and that bruise would go away. But what he did to me mentally,
Oh, I see what you mean.
I can't run from.
Yeah.
I can't run from. When I hear someone say stupid, it triggers me. When I hear door slam, it triggers me.
Yeah.
And so the mental damage that is done to these individuals is problematic. And counter that, young men who see this happening, believing that this is a box that they can check that says okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's my problem with it. People look at what is it called, like Stockholm syndrome, and they look at that as in the most extreme aspect, like, oh, he's a prison, she's in a dungeon, no, just being in a home with someone who is mentally abusive, verbally abusive before they even become physical, could start, like you said, the mental of what you're doing to somebody, and that's what, man, when I speak on him, I speak on anyone like him. It's funny because a lady said, man, we could roam, women would be out all night if men didn't exist. I said, man, that's tough to hear, but it's a hard pill to swallow because I understand what she meant.
Yeah, predators.
Yeah, I understand exactly what she meant. One out of 10 could be a bad apple, but that kind of messes up the whole 10. Just from the way women look at us, and I'm like, we have to be protectors. So yeah, no, in that scenario, again, we can stay on that all day. But
yeah, let's do better.
Yeah, let's do better.
Let's end it on that and just say let's do better. And so, man, I'm going to close us out. You're better at this than me as far as the taglines and telling people to like, subscribe.
Yeah.
So if you could go ahead and run that moniker on what people should do if they like what we had to say and like viewing what they've had to view today.
Okay, definitely on my end. Again, I represent RealLyfe Productions, which is our parent company. RealLyfe Street Starz is a show on RealLyfe Productions. So there's other shows, but it's just the most successful. That's what people know. But if ever anyone wants to, of course, follow the whole platform, the YouTube is RealLyfe Productions. That's RealLyfe, LYFE Productions with an S at the end. We're on everything from Instagram to TikTok to Snapchat to Facebook. It's going to be RealLyfe Productions and or RealLyfe Street Starz. And I think that we messed up by not branding we have two different Instagram pages, RealLyfe Street Starz, RealLyfe Productions. I'm like, we should have just had one. But anyway, with that being said, we got RealLyfe Street Starz with a Z at the end. I am RealLyfe Joker, RealLyfe_Joker, but you can follow the whole team. And when you go to Instagram, just type in RealLyfe, keep those two together, and you'll see a multitude of us. Follow everybody. I don't want to go to follow everybody. But with that being said, I want them to make sure they go on our channel to follow and watch your interview, which, again, was a Marvel movie, 3 hours. I know, man, we talked about everything.
Yeah, we did.
I feel like I want to go take the bar myself.
You know what, man? I felt like I was in there with some of my younger brothers, man, and we were just talking it up. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 a.m. and we were just talking it up.
And you said, man, I don't be up this late, and that's when we started.
Yeah,
that's when we started.
Exactly.
Yeah, so now definitely follow the platform to see his interview, Mr. Larry Taylor's, and again.
No, I changed my name.
Oh, go ahead, please.
I changed my name. So I'm now going by the RealLyfe Lawyer.
Ah, yeah, see, there you go.
I'm going by the RealLyfe Lawyer. I will have a channel on RealLyfe Productions called the RealLyfe Lawyer.
We need that. We need that.
And so
we would love for you to react to. There's so many things that happen in the entertainment world that we need a good attorney to be able to speak to, just run it off of.
Just go with the RealLyfe Lawyer.
RealLyfe Lawyer, man. Hey,
RealLyfe
you heard
Lawyer.
it here. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. So.
I got to get me a chain though. I ain't doing nothing without a chain.
Without question, that's a prerequisite. That's a prerequisite. He has to have one without question. And shout out our jeweler, man, Katie the jeweler. I always like to shout him out because he does great work. But so that's how you follow us. That's how you follow the platform and myself. RealLyfe_Joker. And yeah, we got a lot of great stuff coming. Again, Michael Coyer's coming up. We have Omar Gooding, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother, coming up.
Okay.
A young lady, she's coming Monday. She tried to drop her kids off at CPS, all 5 of them, because her baby daddy just would never give her a break. I said, that's a good conversation. So we're going to have some good conversations coming up. The Vernon story, the story of Vernon is going crazy right now, and yours is going to be great. So I can't wait for them to watch that. But yeah, that's ours. That's ours. That's mine.
And you can follow us. You can go to our website at tailormadelaw.com. And then you can also go to Tailor-Made Conversations on YouTube. Right now, you can go to Larry Taylor II on Instagram or Gucci Lawyer. I mean, if you haven't noticed, you know, I do. But that's another story for another time, and we'll talk.
More episodes coming.
We'll talk about that. And so one of the things that I'm going to leave you guys with too, because I love fashion. I really do love fashion.
Yes. If
anyone can tell me who made these glasses that I'm currently wearing, they were actually highlighted in the, I'll give you a hint, the 2023 Met Gala. Ooh. And there are probably less than 20 of these in North America. So if you can tell me and DM me at Larry Taylor II who made these glasses, let me give you a good look.
Boom.
So you can see.
Boom. Get your Google ready.
I'll cash app you $200.
Oh man, come on now. Then there's a price. Oh yeah, get your Twitter fingers ready. Oh, they going.
So let's do it. Hey man, thank you very much.
No, appreciate it. Again, if this is an inaugural episode, I hope I was an okay guest. I hope those who come after me, they don't have no big shoes to fill, but I just hope they're as entertaining and as truthful, as vocal as I wasn't.
Nah, brother. You
got the real Joker. You got the real Joker.
Yeah, you are the real life Joker. But you were not just honest and truthful, but we just had a normal conversation. Sometimes. Right?
No pens, no pads.
No, none of that. We had a conversation, and so every guest that will come on, whether they're a politician, because we're going to probably do more politicians.
You said Price. We did a mayor. I forget his name. So I can't.
Which city?
John Wiley Price went against. They had a fight.
Man, we're gonna skip that.
We're gonna skip that. Yeah,
because we're gonna cut that one out.
We're gonna cut that one out. Yeah, because I only say that because whenever you have the judges and politicians, those are the ones that I think people, when they watch, they look for cracks. And they look for the story to see if they're falsifying. So I can't wait to sit back and watch when you do, whether politicians, judges, senators, or whoever, those people in power that make laws or help create laws or help dissect laws. I can't wait to watch those interviews with you because what you just gave me, of course, just me being your guest, was authenticity. And that's all I'll be looking for, just authenticity.
Brother, that's what we're going to do. So thank you again, Real Life Joker. Thanks to Chris and Mo for helping a young technically challenged person like myself out with the production of this, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.
Okay.